Hello everyone, I'm Rashmi Bhandary and today I've got two of my students and they've cleared Deloitte. So we have Sankshipth Shetty and Toshan. Great. So will you please tell the eligibility of Deloitte?
Yes, ma'am. So for the Deloitte, the eligibility criteria was 6.5 CGPA or 60% and above, and it was open for all CSIT and circuit branches.
All right. And that includes all this AIML and
AIML,
robotics and everyone. Yeah. Okay. So what were the rounds, Toshan?
So at first we have an coding test. We have to solve 3 coding questions. We have 1 hour for that, and that is the only round which we had, elimination. So there are all concepts like graphs, trees, dynamic programming, everything which we do on platforms like LeetCode, CodeChef and everything. So if you guys are in first and second years, then don't think that you will have time later on. Start now itself. You know, go to CodeChef, go to LeetCode, just do it, just start. You know, there are so many resources. In YouTube there is someone called as Striver. He teaches everything from the base. Even people who don't know coding, they can also follow up with him. Okay. So just keep doing it.
So good. So students, this is people think this videos are for final years. Final years is very late, okay? Final years you can just iron your clothes and come for the interview. All the preparation has to be done before. So you said about LeetCode and CodeChef, right? But what about HackerRank? People, that is the easiest, is it?
Yeah, HackerRank and CodeChef are easy. Then there is LeetCode. That is like some moderate level. But LeetCode is very good.
LeetCode is good.
Basically, for the interview questions, most companies prefer LeetCode kind of patterns.
So these students should start working, isn't it? At least from the first year.
Yeah, at least from first year.
I'm telling you why, because see, these students are already in the final year, they're 20-25 batch pass outs. These juniors, when they come, it's going to be even more tougher.
Yeah,
every year it is going to be tougher. So maybe if they start in the second year, it was still okay. If you don't start in the first year, you're dead meat. I'm telling you students, I'm just putting it plain and blank so that you understand the gravity. It is difficult. And even though you said 6 point, what is the CGPA?
Mine was 9.5.
9.5 and?
Mine is 8.3.
8.3. So you got it, students, even though if they say 65%, still the ones who get clear, who clear are all with 8 and 9 CGPA. Okay, so maintain your academic record and work on the coding platforms, because then only you will clear. Okay, anything to add?
Yeah, like being in the first year, if you are a first year who's watching this, then make use of the first year syllabus actually, because in your first year is your only year wherein you can cover all the CGPA which you can carry on for the later on. So it's much easier to score. So try scoring as much as you can in your first year. Then start solving aptitude and DSA questions as well. So for aptitude, you can start solving it in indiabits.com, and then there's career right. So
career
right. And
that's
there's also called as talent battle or something. So there's a website. So you can start practicing. And there's a YouTube channel called as Free Field to Learn. So you can refer to that YouTube channel. So he teaches everything from basics, aptitude. So that was for the aptitude, and for the coding, as Toshan said, Striver, that is Take You Forward channel. So you can refer that for the DSA. You start solving DSA questions in CodeChef, HackerRank, and then gradually move to LeetCode.
Alright. So can you explain what sort of questions were there, for coding?
So for the coding, there were basically 3 questions. So there were actually 2 batches. So we were in the first batch. So for the first batch, it was mainly related to priority queues, the first question. And the second question was more into the concept of strings and arrays kind of question. And then the third was more into the topic of sliding window. So these are like concepts in data structure that you have to practice more and more so that you get a good hold of it. Then even if you get any type of questions based on that, you'll be able to solve it. So those were the topics that were there.
Can you elaborate, like if someone says these are the coding,
Yeah, so for all the second years, take the data structures very seriously. That is one very important thing. That is the base. If you don't take it seriously, then it's gone. It's just gone. Data structure is one thing which will help you in everything. That is, if you don't have that, then you can't do anything later on. And
like the questions, how was the question in the coding?
Yeah, that's
You remember?
Yeah, I remember. So the first one is you have some tasks given, and you have to schedule some time for that task based on some logic. That's it. That is first one. And then second one was a string based question. I don't really remember how it was.
But I remember
something like
it was the same for everyone.
It was same
for the first batch. It was same. So the second question was something like you will be given n different arrays, and you'll be given m, which is basically the number of elements in that array, and your task is to make all the sum of the arrays equal, and you have to find the minimum number of operations in order to do so. So that was the second question, and the third question was related to sliding window. Basically, you'll be given two arrays, and you have to find the longest string or the sub array which will satisfy the condition that is given in the question. So that was the third question.
Okay. And like you had to solve all the three, or how was it?
I solved all the three.
All the three?
I solved two.
Two.
Yeah. The third one half solved.
Alright. So they're looking at the logic or how you go about it.
The more test cases you pass, the more chances that you will clear that.
Okay. Alright.
So basically each question had 3 test cases, and each test case will have a mark internally. So the more test cases you pass, the more score you'll get. But it's not just the test cases that you'll see. There might be some hidden cases which you will not see, which will be there behind the software. So you might have to pass as many cases as you want. So you should not hard code it. Basically, if the condition is like if so and so is given, then output that, output this. You should not do that. So try building the logic, and the more better your logic is, it will pass more and more test cases. So, yeah.
And also one more thing, the concepts which we got in the test, it was arrays, subarrays and strings and some simple things. These are very simple things. But later on they might start asking graphs, trees and all.
For the second batch, there was a question related to graphs.
Yeah.
So that was actually to find a cycle within a graph. So that was the second question. And the first and the third question were easy for them.
Those are like very hard topics, graphs, trees, dynamic programming and everything.
If you like practice lead code every day, then it's much more easy because those questions are there in the lead code itself. So they just directly take the question from there and then give it to you with some modification to the question.
So why don't people practice? My question is, you've come for engineering 4 years and then they don't practice, is it?
Well, the reason for that is at first it's very, very hard to understand.
I agree.
At first it's actually
So how do you, then how do you understand?
Well, what I did was, you need to have at least 1 year of lead code, you know, or else it's not possible. It's like, you just need to sit every day, think about the problem and solve it yourself. Just the effort is required.
Alright.
Or else it's not possible.
Good you told this, because people think, lead code, I'll do it anytime. No, you can't. Minimum 1 year. Minimum 1 year.
Another thing that I would like to share is, most of the people, what happens is when they start doing lead code, so they try solving 1 or 2 questions, and they fail at it miserably. Even I have been through that.
And then
phase.
leave it, right?
And then they leave it over there. They never go back.
Alright.
So it's like they just give up over there. So if they give up, then it's definitely not possible for you to solve any other question.
At first it's always
it's always there. You will not be able to solve. That's a hard and fast rule that you will not be able to solve. But then go back into YouTube, search what the question is about, learn about the concept, go back into lead code and solve it again.
So YouTube, you're saying like Striver, if you go, then you'll be able to understand.
And there are many people. You can just paste the question number of lead code and you'll get the solution.
The lead code itself has a solution.
Yeah, it has a solution.
It has a discussion page.
People do the.
So how does one go to lead code? First they do hacker rank and then they go to lead code, or which is the basic easiest one?
Basic, I'd say hacker rank and CodeChef.
CodeChef. So you do these two maybe in the first year and all
for
that.
For the first years,
first
years I would suggest you to start with CodeChef and hacker rank. Start with the basic fundamentals. Try holding on to one language, either C++ or Java. The more language that you are focused on object oriented, it's more beneficial. So either hold on to C++ or Java and start with the basic foundations, strings, arrays and all those things. Later move on to other high concepts.
Okay. So then after the coding, then what's the next?
After the coding, if we get shortlisted, we are directly into interview, and we have 2 interview rounds. Both are technical rounds.
Okay.
So that's how it is.
What did they ask for you in the technical?
For the technical, the first round of the technical, basically, first was the self-introduction. So once you're done with the self-introduction, the interviewer asked me about my favorite subject. So I told it was DSA. So then he proceeded with asking fundamental questions based on that.
Can you say what are the fundamentals?
Basically, I said DSA was my favorite. So he asked me what is DFS, what is BFS. Those are algorithms that you'll learn in your second year. So please focus on the subject of data structures and design and analysis of algorithms. Those 2 are the very crucial subjects that you'll learn in your second year.
And that is not only for Deloitte, it's for all the companies.
All the
companies.
Any big tech companies that you want to crack, it is a must to do. So then, the questions were like, what is DFS, BFS, stacks, queues, and what are the real world applications for that, and things like that, basic fundamental questions. And then he proceeded with a bit of higher level questions based on development, related to what is client side, server side, how does the rendering happen. And then he moved into a bit of concept related to computer networks. So that is also one of the important subject in the engineering. So overall there are total 5 subjects. The first one is data structures, second one is algorithms, third one is computer networks, DBMS, and then is there any other thing? DBMS. Yeah. Those four are the very core fundamentals which you need to learn for any company to crack, any tech company to crack. So if you're good with that, then your interview will be much easier.
Okay.
So for me, see, first thing is in technical interview, what they check is, they check your resume, and they check on what you claim that you are good at, and then they check what you are good at, and then they just ask you questions. So in my resume, I put that I'm good at React and I'm good at websites. So they purely ask me on development. They ask me in React how does the life cycle of React, how does the element flow work in that, and then basically all React questions. And then in my website, I had a website, a portfolio of myself. So I showed them that, and they were very impressed with that. And all of my projects and everything was there in that. So it's very good that you guys will have one portfolio. So build one portfolio.
So GitHub is a portfolio? No.
GitHub is basically a website wherein you can put your projects. You can showcase them.
So GitHub is mandatory?
GitHub is mandatory.
It is mandatory. Students, I'm telling you, please have, this is like mandatory, okay? Don't even think that, oh, some will ask, okay? Have that, and then on top of that, you had a website.
I had a website of myself.
Better you build your own website.
You also have a website?
Even I have.
Wow. So everyone has a website. I didn't know that.
You have an upper hand if you have a website.
Okay, good, yeah.
There
good,
are a few people,
good.
but
there are a few. So students, if you're a first year, please get into your building a website.
It's basically your digital resume that anyone can see anytime.
And it's cool to have a very nice website.
Yeah.
You make some cool things in that, and it looks good.
And then keep uploading and update.
Yeah, you can just update every time.
Update, because you don't think that in the final year you're going to make it, because you better start from the first year, because you have 3 years at least to do something. Because if you open the website and nothing is there much, then again it's a flop. And the companies do the research, okay? They'll check everything and they'll do.
They'll check each and everything.
Because you go with your laptop, they have their laptop, everyone. It's an interview, by the way, is this thing, okay? They open the laptop and it's they will check whatever you're telling. And you also have to show your stuff.
Yes.
No.
Yes. So in my website everything was given, all the projects I've done, everything was. So they didn't really ask me much about my projects or anything. They just asked me questions on what I'm good at, and I could answer most of them. And then so in Deloitte they didn't ask us puzzles, but in other companies they'll ask puzzles. There are some interview questions on puzzles. It is there in GFG. So some puzzles.
What is GFG? What's the
Geeks for
Geeks?
Geeks for Geeks. So you can search 100 interview questions on Geeks for Geeks, and it will give you a bunch of questions, and those are very interesting to solve as well.
To improve your problem solving, analytical thinking.
So Deloitte didn't really ask us, but this is very, very much mandatory for every single company.
Okay.
So
And then anything?
And later on, for the first round, he went very deep into my resume. So basically, he asked about the projects, what tech stack did I use, why did I use NoSQL over SQL, and all those questions. And then he proceeded with my portfolio. He looked into that. Then he went into my other profiles like LeetCode and other coding platforms. So once that was done, he started asking me questions related to the hackathons that I've attended. So it was more into my achievements section. So he asked me, what did you build over there? And he was a bit impressed with that. So participating in hackathons was some kind of advantage for me.
Good.
So that did help me out.
All right. And then second round or?
Second round was again technical only. But they were a bit more chill for me.
I remember it was very cool for you, because I think you thought it was an HR round, and it actually was not. It's a hardcore technical round somehow. Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, for me, first round was very long and they went completely deep. So then second round they didn't really ask me much. First they asked me on everything that I have done in the college. So I told everything. I have done internship in Megamind. I have taken up workshops for my juniors. I am in a club. I have organized college fests and everything.
Which club are you in?
Challenges.
Oh, good.
So So one more thing. Challenges had some seniors who had connects with other companies. So I get freelance projects.
So you've done projects?
I have done.
And you won money?
I have won money.
See, good. So students, wherever you have done something and earned money, that shows that you have really done something worthwhile, because nobody pays you just like that. So if so internship, at least you should have, if not, don't do that pay where you pay, you should have got some money, or at least you have done something free, but still you would have learned. Learning should be there.
So when people are paying you money, that means you are doing something great. People
Alright.
simply don't give you money. So that means they understood that, okay, so I have done something for a company. It was hosted also, a website for JM Impex. It is a Mumbai-based company who make mechanical parts. So I showed them the website also. They were very impressed with the website as well. So yeah, that was there. And then they just asked some basic technical questions based on websites, how website flow works and everything. Basically, first round repeated for second round. Maybe for others it might have gone deep.
Okay.
But for me it didn't really go.
For me it was a bit deep. So basically the first part was self-introduction again. So once I finished my introduction, they asked me my marks card. So I gave them the engineering marks card. They reviewed over that. They looked into the CGPA.
Why you got 9 CGPA, is it?
Yeah.
So they must be impressed. Okay, 9
So they
CGPA
did.
always impresses.
So they did look at that, and then they started asking questions. Like the first question which the interviewer asked me was, can you explain any one of your projects that you have done really well in? So I explained one of the projects which made me win one of the hackathons. So I was a finalist for that. So I explained that in deep. So once that was done, they started asking questions on that. Why did you use this? Why not that? And questions related to your project. So whenever you're building your project, make sure you know each and everything. Even though it's a group project, before the interview, make sure you know what your teammates have done. So try learning what they have done and just know each and every concept of what you have done in your project. Because that question will be there in each and every company about your projects that you have built. So that was one part, and then they moved into a bit of technical, like related to C++, what are header files, what does it contain, and questions related to a bit of Android development since I've worked on that. So they asked me a bit of questions related to that, what is SDK, why do we use it, and all those questions. So it was more into my resume itself.
Yeah, because whatever you write in your resume, whatever you speak, the flow of the conversation will go with it. Yeah.
If you put like every single tech stack in your resume, right? If you put every single thing, then they will burden you with questions. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you that. And my resume had one thing which was 3D website integration. So I was very much interested in that, and they were very skeptical. They thought I must have just put it simply. So they asked me questions on that. But I showed my interest on that, and I told them that I am very interested in this. I made one website also, and I showed them the website, and they were very impressed with that. So yeah, be careful on what you put on your resume.
Yeah, your interview is based on your questions. Your question paper is the resume, right? Whatever you write, that only you will be asked on. Yeah. So anything, finally, any tips to add, share?
So yeah, the first year is mainly, please don't waste time. That is one time wherein you can score easily, very much easily. So
and 9 CGPA, how difficult it is? If you really work hard,
yeah, you can, because first year was the major part wherein you can score easily.
How much did you score in the first year?
First year is almost 9.9.
9.9, that means
So that was like, it was much easier, even though when you enter second year, there will be a bit of burden.
Yeah, how much
then
did
you
it
can
come down
manage.
to the second year?
It was somewhere around 9.5, 9.6. So then there was a consistency between that.
Okay.
So finally it's in the range of 9.5.
Okay.
So then try learning more basic fundamental concepts in your academics, and try scoring more in your first year mainly, because it will get eventually harder in your second year and third year. And then start learning one particular language and start building projects alongside that. So it might be related to web development or app development. Start learning, don't waste your time in any case. And in your second year, there are subjects like data structures and design analysis, DBMS and computer networks. All those subjects are very fundamental. So even though you might not understand it in the class, but try learning it somewhere or the other. There might be articles or YouTube or wherever. Try learning it, because those are fundamental topics for the tech interviews, be it any core companies. So that is one of the thing. And yeah, don't ignore DSA and aptitude mainly, please. Aptitude is a must, but yeah, we didn't have an aptitude for this Deloitte round, but then for the other companies there will be an aptitude. So make sure you practice from now itself, from the first year, because in the end it's not possible to learn aptitude, because I've experienced that. So then practice aptitude, practice DSA, at least try solving one question every day in Leak Code or CodeChef or HackerRank, anything, but just be consistent and it will turn out good.
People think that aptitude is easy. Yeah, actually it is easy, but when it comes to time, it's not easy. You can solve, but when you have less time to solve, then it's going to be very hard. So just practice every day. Even if you know aptitude a lot, practice every day.
Okay.
And then I would like to say one more thing. If you won any competitions, or if you have certificates of internships and all, put that in a black file and take it to your interview. They actually asked me.
They do ask.
Yeah. So I just
Why
gave-
a black 5? Looks nice.
It looks nice.
Just common instead of a fancy colorful.
Alright, yeah. Basically a solid color.
Yeah,
All
solid.
right,
Yeah,
black,
any solid neutral color.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, they ask you and they just go through that without asking you anything. So they go through your file, and yeah.
So have a backup of whatever you say. You say I participated. Not that they may ask, but if you have a backup, then they know that what you're saying is honest and truthful. So they know what you're telling. Even during the interview, there's so much of weight. Alright, so please don't neglect on any of these points. Thank you very much for sharing. See, why are we doing these interviews? It's not for the final years, it's very late for them. These interviews are especially meant for the first years and the second years, because this is when you can actually build up your resume and start working for a campus. Third year, I don't think, many people get up late and then third year they start, but third year is a mad rush then. Final year, you can't do anything. So first year and second year, please do something that you can. Third year, it's already late for you, but whatever still you can, build up some nice projects and work on all these concepts. I know if you have to do all this in 1 year, it's going to be really challenging, but what to do? You wasted 2 years, so then you'll have to. So, but ideal time is first year, and then you can, then a campus recruitment is a breeze, isn't it?
Yes.
It's easy then.
It's a very big relief.
It's such a relief, and especially if you get a job in the initial, phase. Because best companies will come only at the beginning. Later on, you don't get those. So if you miss out now, then it's late, right? So I don't want anyone to be late. So take these tips from your seniors and please start working very hard. And all the best to the both of you. Thank you very much.
All the best, guys.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.